Hello, Jared here, and it's time for another video. So here I am back with all new topic that recently came to me that I'm just going to call priorities. That's kind of a big scope. It's not as specific as it is more of the big picture of what I wanted to talk about, just some things that I've gone through last month or two, and some people that I've conversed with that helped kind of give me the idea for this video. So we're going to talk about that. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you might notice that sometimes I'll bring up a topic that I have talked about in another video, and it just kind of depends on what that video is about. And this video is no exception. But regarding priorities, when I started art, I had made a very conscious effort to, I wanted to get good at art. I wanted to get a lot better. And by doing this, I knew that I had to drop some other things. Sacrifices have to be made if you want to pursue a goal seriously. At least I believe that. I'm one that believes that. Yeah, you can try to hold on to things, like kind of juggle everything, hold it all in your hands, but it's kind of like this diluted version. And to be more specific, for me, it was gaming. Gaming was my big crutch in life, and I did a lot back in the day. I was kind of a hardcore gamer to the point that my parents would use it as a punishment if my grade slipped at school. But lately, ever since I made the decision of doing art and trying to really hone the craft and go full throttle, everything else in my life has kind of taken a back seat, and I'm okay with that. And I would say that I'm more regarded as a casual gamer now. And I'm even to the point that when I sit down and play a game, even if it's a good one, because I still like games, but I still can't shake the thought that I think, wow, I could be doing something a little more productive with my time right now, because there's so much I want to do with art and so much I need to do to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. And that's another important thing, is you need to have set goals. And as I said before, know what you're after and what you're trying to achieve. Now, I'm using gaming as my example, as the big time sucker for me. And considering the demographic, especially in a lot of these art communities, I imagine that might be the same for many people, because video games are part of the Gen X, Gen Y, millennial culture. And they're just here, and they're more mainstream than ever. So as far as something to do, especially when it's raining outside or a Friday night, no friends can hang out, video games definitely dominate a lot of the time spectrum. However, when I say that I cut out a lot of my video game time, which I would argue is down at least 80 to 90%, I am by no means saying abandon your social life, because I will still hang out with friends. If people want to go out and do something on Friday, absolutely. My drawing can wait. I'm home more than I'm out. I'm not really the partying type, but I do have a good time. I know how to live my life, and it's very important for everyone to be able to do that. So you don't need to shut everything down just to go after one goal, because that's unhealthy as well. Now, moving on from this, I want to kind of go into story mode again. My experiences always find their ways of entering these videos. And there might be someone watching this video that I had this conversation with. I'm not sure. But I mean all of this in the utmost respect, and actually a positive note, not a negative note. I don't want to be negative when I talk about this stuff, because there's more good than bad here. I don't even really think good and bad is part of this conversation. It's just more of an observance. So bear with me. So there's an individual that has been following my artwork almost since I started. And they've conversed with me, multiple times and commented on a bunch of my work. And, I've improved a lot since I started, but they were there, complimenting me and kind of keeping morale high, I guess you could say, since the beginning. But this person just recently had their first live stream that I've ever seen them have. And I actually heard their voice for the first time. I couldn't even believe it. So it's like, oh God, almost 2 years later. And he's kind of doing his own stuff as well, where he's kind of pursuing a comic or a graphic novel with an array of characters, and he's doing tons of writing. And he's doing a lot of it too, which is, that's admirable. That's awesome. That's a lot of dedication in order to move forward on your personal pet project. But as I started to notice the drawing in front of me, since it was like a live stream, I was watching the drawing and it's like, that doesn't quite look like a tablet or even like a screen or anything. It almost looks like a mouse. And I asked him, like, are you drawing with a mouse? And he's like, well, yeah, I've been drawing with that. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, this is a person that's got that draws a ton and has this huge project ahead of him, and he's drawing with a mouse. And it was like getting hit by a truck. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, well, tablets, they're kind of pricey. I don't really see the need to get one. And I started arguing with them a little bit, like, what are you doing? Like, you're stagnating yourself. You're completely plateauing. Like, you simply physically cannot improve past a certain point if you draw with a mouse. You can't even do proper drawing techniques. You just can't. It's impossible. Nobody in the professional world would use a mouse to work on a major project. And I'm going to argue that right here because I don't know of anybody that does. And when I found this out, for someone that seemed so passionate about what he was doing, I'm like, what the hell, man? And he was trying to justify it, that he's comfortable doing it and he's been doing it for so long. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you could improve so much faster. All your work would come together faster. Everything across the board would improve. Everything. And I was just watching him justifying what he was doing was just fine. And it was driving me insane, to say the least. And I started linking all these tablets and I just had a hard time thinking that money had to be the deciding factor, because this person also enjoyed a lot of video games and they were talking about all these games they were going to get. And I'm thinking, wow, you just rattled off like at least 3 or 4 games. That's at least $150 to $200. You can get a tablet for half that price. That's going to last you 5 to 10 years on something that you say you're passionate about. And that's where I was kind of getting to the whole point of this video, is priorities. Like, I do get it. I mean, everyone has their interests. Everyone has things they enjoy. And sometimes those things they enjoy, they also like to do with friends. I totally get it. But I guess the frustrating part is when I see someone that has all this potential and I watch them practically sabotage their ability to create by focusing on things that consume, which is video games. And while games are fun, a lot of things are fun, Going out and drinking with friends is fun, but if you do something too much, sometimes it can be unhealthy. And what's it doing for you? You're constantly escaping the scary realities of life, and we all do it. I do it. We've all done it. That's what entertainment does for us, is it allows us to have a little bit more enrichment in life. And that's why I want to create something which also is something for people to consume. Isn't it funny how that all comes around? But that's the thing, is when you see someone that has the ability to go further and they openly tell me that, oh no, this is good. Like, you're just going to settle for mediocrity. You're going to settle just to sit at your plateau and never improve. That's frustrating. And I finally understand why other people had been frustrated with me earlier in the year. That I have explained in my other videos, where they would tell me things and they wouldn't see the improvement, or they didn't see like that dedication, because they see somebody and they want to watch them improve. It's satisfying for not just the person that's doing it, but the teacher as well. So when you watch someone just sit there and just hover and do nothing and just sit on autopilot, not that they're doing nothing, but they're not doing anything to push forward. Life should be a progression, not some place where you stagnate. And I think that's where I'm trying to come from. As a little side note, normally the tool doesn't make the artist, but in the case of trying to draw with a mouse, I will definitely say using a tablet on digital art for a computer is kind of like, is the difference between trying to cook an egg on the stove with a hammer and trying to scramble it and flip it versus a spatula. Could you maybe do it with a hammer? Perhaps, but definitely not the right tool for the job. Probably not even sanitary. But spatula is going to be better 100% of the time. I want people to realize that it's not just about art that I'm referring this to. It's about anything that you want to go after. And a lot of times we want to sit there and hold and juggle as much as we can because we don't want to give anything up. You know, we don't want to Rick Astley our lives. We never want to give them up. Sometimes on the dark days that I have, the more depressing days that I have, I always think, wow, like what if I just gave up drawing right now? What if I'm scared of success and I don't know, you know, what I'm doing. I don't know what the hell I've got myself into. It's like, what if I just stopped? You know, I could get rid of a little bit of that stress. I mean, I do enjoy it. I mean, that's why I do this. But I could make it all go away. And then I ask myself, well, then what? You're just gonna go to work, pay the bills, come home, watch Netflix, play a video game, rinse and repeat till you die. You know, like for me, I know that's a little crude the way I put that, but for me, I even back in high school, I said I wanted to set out and do something that kind of made a mark for myself. And for the longest time, I thought it was going to be music. And I'm not saying that still couldn't happen. It still might be music. But right now, I don't see that in my life at the moment as the thing. So this project that I'm working on now, Cashmere Sky, what can I say? It's my passion project. And if it's a passion project, I just kind of make the assumption that I need to hit it full throttle. But it's also easier to hit it full throttle because I'm motivated by it because it's a passion project. That's the whole point behind the words. It's a passion. I also have friends that have their own passion projects. A friend of mine is working on a game. Like it's begun production, like an actual game that hopefully soon you'll be able to play on consoles. Like I'm not even joking. And he's worked years on it just before it got to the development cycle. And you know that's really awesome. And it's good to be surrounded by people with similar drive. So that's what I would recommend for anyone that's embarking on any type of artistic endeavor. It doesn't matter if you know you're computer programming or doing art or music or honestly anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be an artistic field. You just need to surround yourself with people better than yourself in the field of interest so you can get better. Many business magazines will recommend that. All sorts of type of company and work articles I've read recommend that. Always surround yourself with people better than you so you have something to shoot for, and you also have people that can possibly mentor you. So it's very important to kind of guide your success by the choices you make, and that is one of them. Well, I'm not going to drone on and on. I think I've made the points that I wanted to talk about, but yeah, if you have a passion, I encourage anybody that says that. If you say you want to be an artist, if you say you want to be a musician, if you say you want to be a computer programmer, don't dilute it. Don't water it down. If you make a few sacrifices, you know, that's okay. That's also part of growing up. I mean, unfortunately, we only have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. And sometimes if you want to get further, faster, and beat the next guy, you have to make those sacrifices because there's a very high chance that the guy beating you had made those sacrifices. So don't let you be the one that gets beaten. At the same time, try not to overdo it and still enjoy life. There's still a great big world out there. There's more to life than just your career path. There's family, there's friends, there's lots of physical experiences, places to see, places to go. So don't just find that you're spending 7 days a week sitting in a computer chair. I mean, you might spend a lot of your time there if you want to be good at something, but make sure that you're enjoying life too, because life does have a lot more to offer than just one thing. It's a balance, but through growth and maturity, most people should be able to figure that out. I would hope anyway. So I guess I'm going to wrap up the video. Comment, like, subscribe. And don't forget to visit cashmeresky.com. I got links below of the sites, but they are there, and there'll be periodic updates, hopefully throughout the year, on those sites, or mainly cashmeresky.com. I've got some stage releases on that, but I'm not going to announce anything yet. But all right, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.